Hello, guys. How are you? Do you hear me? How
It's
are you, Doug?
I'm doing fine. Uh, I tend to be one of those fellows that what do they call it? Lurks.
Okay.
I've had a Newton since the very, very early days. I started with a Sharp,
All right.
of which I still have, and each of the steps along the way, I picked up more toys. I think that's a common thing, is it not?
Yeah,
hmm
it is.
Yes. Unfortunately, my toys at the moment are out in my garage,
Okay.
and I'm not.
Okay, I'm trying to fix my camera.
Yes, I'm struggling with the same problem. My camera seems to want to make me very small. It wants to pick up a lot of background.
But
And I,
it's nice, very nice background. I can see that. But in a Zoom, you can, if you use Zoom, you can pick up background effect like a blurred if you don't want to reveal your background. Or even you can put a kind of background picture.
yeah, it doesn't. One should enjoy one's basement, and that's what I'm in.
Yes, that's nice.
Yeah. So I'm in a little village outside of Toronto.
All right.
Oh, I'm not sure where you fellows are from.
Mm, I'm in Scotland, UK.
I assume that might be true. True. UK, of course, is a quite a complex place.
What do you mean by that?
Well, you've got countries within countries.
Ah, yes, that's true. I mean, United States is very similar, I would say.
To some degree, they at least call them different things. It's
Right.
within a federation,
Yeah,
but a state is just another word for country,
yeah.
where Canada is not. We're more
It's
like the
Canada, yeah?
we have provinces.
All right. That's correct.
Yes, but you have provinces who keep threatening to leave and who want to speak a different language. And
Well, I don't know. Ask the Scots what they think of the UK.
I, I'm
No comments.
I was thinking more in relation to the US, I mean, there are
Yeah,
some
but
states we'd love to have them secede, but
Well, I've heard some Americans in varying states imply they too would like to be separate. In fact, some of them think Canada is part of the United States.
oops.
Yes, life is interesting when one goes and contacts the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So, Melvin, where are you from? Can you hear me, Melvin? I see Melvin.
Hello. Yes, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes,
I can
I
hear you.
hear you
Well,
very
I have
well.
a very interesting history. So I was born in Singapore. Then I went to the United States in Arizona to get my engineering degree. Then I moved to Miami, started work, and now I'm at North Carolina.
Ah, so you're the bridge builders.
Well, I no, well, I not the bridge. I did aerospace engineering,
Well,
so it's
but
the
you did some
planes.
cultural bridging.
Oh, cultural. Okay, I did. Yes.
And now we're doing technical bridging between
Mhm.
Newtons and
Yeah,
Macs, Windows and
yeah.
IBMs
Well,
and
my
sorts of weird things.
correct. My history with the Newton also dates back quite a few years. I think believe I first saw it at It was I want to say it was a conference, or it was a new product unveiling. It was televised. I was in Phoenix at that time in school, and they had, I was watching it televised in this uh, meeting room in this exhibition hall, and I thought, well, that's a very neat little gadget, that you can write and it recognizes your handwriting. So I got my first Newton Message Pad 100, I think in 1994. And then a year later, I got the 120. And then in 1998, after Steve Jobs killed the Newton, I purchased one at the school bookstore, May of 98. And then 2 years later, I was enticed by the Windows CE color screens. I sold my Newton and
Oh,
bought a Windows CE
pain,
device.
pain.
Yeah. And I regretted it ever since. So I'm making up for lost time now. So I purchased on eBay, a unused message pad 2100, a upgraded 2000, and a original 2000. Yeah.
Nice.
So I've got three of those now. And I think I'm using this one right now. Can you see it? Right here?
Yeah.
Yep. It has a journaling device.
Wow.
Oh,
That's nice.
yep, I see your 2100. Oh, you have an eMate. Is that an eMate? Oh, is it a picture of an eMate?
Oh,
It's
I guess that you finally see my, yeah, but I need
Yeah,
to,
I can see your
yeah, but
camera.
I need to figure out how to rotate that. Give me some. All right.
a very pretty box.
Mm.
And it's one of those UK ones.
Oh.
Yeah. Hmm. I need to figure out how to make that. Now you should
Like the
see
girls.
properly. I'm trying to make that also my screen. Okay. Cool. So that should work. I'm gonna stop it. Sorry, guys. So how many newtons at this moment do you have?
For me, I have
Yeah,
3.
no, yeah, 3. Okay.
Yeah.
So nice.
Lost count.
That's good.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 newtons of varying different levels and lots of toys to plug into them.
Hmm.
I am one of those guys who likes to play with my toys. I had way back Apple number 50. That was the serial number on my first Apple computer.
Wow.
Long before
Nice.
that. So yeah, I just got hooked on the products that came out of that company for a while until I realized I could go broke trying to keep up. And that happened somewhere around 2000.
I have an old titanium PowerBook G4, and I recently managed to resell or refurbish the battery. So I took it apart, bought the cells, soldered them all together, and so I have a portable device again instead of a tethered one to the outlet. I can carry it around now, so I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, that sounds like a wonderful project.
A completed one. I'm actually I ordered two battery cages for the 2100. This guy sells it in Sweden, so I'm waiting for it to come. And apparently, with that battery cage, you can actually buy nickel metal hydride batteries and then solder them together and make it a rechargeable battery pack, just like the original.
Yeah, I'd be really careful. NiCads should work no problem.
Hmm.
Nickel metal hydride, the Newton charging system, I don't think was designed around those. And I have discovered that when I put in the batteries, they say they're all double A's or triple A's or single A's or whatever the hell they are.
Hmm.
They're not all the same size. And sometimes companies, strangely enough, change sizes. Maybe they put a little extra metal coating around them or something. I don't know. But I find that putting them in those rechargeable battery systems and so on, they don't always want to go back in. Well, the new ones don't want to go in, so they're not going back in because they were never there.
Okay. Yeah, dimensions might be a little different, right? So it's a tight squeeze into that little space.
Yeah, get your micrometer out. You're an engineer.
Yeah.
And of course,
Is someone changing their tire? Wait.
Aha!
Who's
Hi
changing their
guys,
tire? Hello.
how's it going? I'm Noah.
Hi, Noah.
Hey, Powell, you're here. There you are.
Yeah, I'm fighting with my camera because I cannot get
Oh, okay.
proper camera and also audio suffering, but I'm trying to figure out how to fix my camera because I want to show a few things. But
Okay,
we'll
cool.
see.
I'm changing my tire. You're fixing your camera.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
busy.
Maybe I should start baking.
Yeah.
I'll multitask.
I was supposed to be done this by now, but you know, I bit off more than I could chew, so happens.
Mhm.
Yep.
Which I overheard the last part of that conversation about nickel metal hydride batteries. Which Newton are you working on?
It's the 2100 or
Okay.
an upgraded 2000. So this guy in Sweden sells these battery cages, but they're 3D printed, and it has all the contacts for the original rechargeable batteries that it comes with, right? These
The originals for the
K Newtons
2100. The 2100
Mhm.
was, I believe, nickel metal hydride. And it was
hydride.
the
Yep,
older generation, which was the nickel cadmium.
nickel cadmium. Yeah.
I heard somebody say nickel
So
cadmium.
yeah. So yeah, so I'm waiting for them to get here so that I can experiment with creating my own rechargeable battery packs that I can
Cool.
resell them as an RECELL over time, so I can keep these things going forever and ever.
Cool.
My
Mhm.
solution to the problem was just to use rechargeable batteries and recharge them in a separate unit and have enough of them that I could just immediately swap them. And I can remember my students wondering what the hell I was doing because I was keeping my marking system on it, keeping their attendance and their marks and everything on it. And I got accused of being a narc, a policeman who was a narcotics officer, because I always carried it in my, well, I had a special pouch that put in there. And of course, at school, you wore a jacket, so they couldn't see that. I would reach in there. So it was part of the fun. You got to have fun in life. Right, Pearlie?
And now you want me to come off mute? Okay. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. I don't know how I ended up being the talker, but
Well, does
Well,
anyone
I
know
think you're
of
making
any
up for
good?
lurking
Oh,
for so long. No, I was just going to
yeah.
say he's just making up for lurking for so long.
Oh, I see. Does anyone know of any good journaling software for the Newton? I'm using Works right now, but I wonder if there's a better option.
I've been using just the built-in notepad myself, but I think you can get all sorts of enhancements that people have made for that you could install. If that works.
Okay.
They
Is
did make
everyone
period of time a package that you could buy, and you could make your own stationery for the pad. And it would fit in, well, there were 2 or 3 different kinds of stationery, but most of the stationery that most people ever did was for the notepad. Although I did see some variations that people used in the address book. And there was one
has
very
anybody
thing that you could write a name in your notebook and then just draw a line through the name, and pop, up would come your address book with that name displayed.
well, has anyone ever recently tried to get online for Anya Newton? Is it able to do it?
Yes. I mean,
Yeah.
what do you mean
Yeah.
online? Like browsing the websites or something like this? Or just
I was
like this
looking like
online?
maybe getting reading news groups or the Newton Talk emails.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
Um,
it's possible, but you need to remember that Newton cannot work with SSL. So the only websites you can just watch, they are like without any security, without SSL and other options. So basically pure HTML.
I see. Okay.
There are some,
Yeah.
there are some sites out there that that are designed for vintage tech, like Frog Find and others that basically
Oh,
give you some access to the internet through plain HTML.
So you said Frog Find?
no,
Yeah,
no.
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 This one, I'm gonna give you the address.
Yes, there's multiple.
Let me pull that. Let me look at mine.
One is proper for Newtons.
Frog Find. Yeah, I think there was one that was specifically like Newt Find or something. I mean, Frog, Newt.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same. We just build it with more.
Yeah, because I was just tickled when I got the hold on, I'll show you. This is my old Skyline Fairlawn Wi-Fi card here.
Mhm.
And then I was just tinkering around with my titanium power boat, and I got the two to talk to each other, and I could actually synchronize and back up my Newton wirelessly now without the serial cable. So that was just kind of exciting for me.
Yeah, that's very nice way to connect Newton. Yeah. So the
Yeah, but you
options
still need. Oh,
Mhm.
sorry. Go ahead.
So the options I utilize is just old airport Wi-Fi device, and I'm just connected directly to this with my Newtons. I'm running 4 NPDS servers at this moment. I hope they are online. Let me check. Yes, they are online. I'm gonna send you a link if someone wants to watch it.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Another way is you could set up email account on Newton, and you could, for example, have account for Newton Talk, but also that account must work without any restriction in terms of security, because once again, Newton cannot work with secure connections, etc., etc. Yeah, but it's possible. Even web browser. What's the most popular web browser for Newton? What was the name? Newtscape? Newtscape, yeah.
Newt Hopper.
Yeah,
Is that the one you're thinking about?
yeah. Hopper and Newtscape also. There's
Yeah, yeah.
Newtscape because it's like a more, for me, more reliable. But once again, only the website without any security, etc. So basically pure.
Yeah,
What do you use?
I did have my 2100 online. You guys hear me?
Yes.
I did have my 2100 online for a little while, and the browser that I found was the most useful was one called Courier by Eckhart Toppin, and it is a text-only browser, but it's very fast compared to Newtscape is probably the best rich kind of experience you can expect. But even that, you'll need to go through you need to go through FrogFind or something like that, or NewtFind. But Courier is quite fast.
So
So
yeah,
I assume that's freeware or shareware or something.
I think it's free. It's
Yeah, it's free
it's
at
free.
40hertz.org. 40hz.org. And there's a whole bunch of cool stuff that Eckhart has put there.
Well, there is a few options. Yes, my camera finding is working. Awesome. Ta-da! Hello.
Hey, hello, Paul. Paul, do you remember, didn't a few years ago, didn't Paul Guillot, he had some sort of an update with regards to the security, but I don't know if anything ever came of it. Like he had been working on it.
I remember that he tried to solve that, but I'm not sure if with the modern websites that will make any difference. Because it's too many, I tried to load up even the website like, Apple or something. So there's no way you can even load up that website because Newton will be killed with amount of
Yeah,
data.
it's
And
so huge.
yeah, it's so huge compared to so Newton don't even have ability to load up the website. Even if you switch off or, block all the things related with the I don't know, cookies and any other additional tracking systems, etc., etc. So even if you go through that find frog or newt find websites and you will use it to simplify the website, you cannot load up the website because
Okay,
they're too big.
interesting.
Yeah. Basically, this is just my experience. Basically, Newton trying to load up and at some point just freeze because not enough memory
Yeah.
to operate.
Which browser is that with, Paul?
I'm using that Newtscape, yeah, because
Okay,
I'm gonna try maybe that you mentioned before because I
try
never.
it out.
That was Courier, yeah, Courier, yeah.
Courier, the search engines in that one are integrated into the app. So you should write to Eckhart and ask him to add NewtFind and FrogFind. I wonder if he would do that for us.
All right.
Because you can't enter text into the search fields because it's such a minimal browser.
Mhm.
So he integrated the search engines right into the app.
Oh,
But it would be really much better if it had, Google is kind of useless for Newton.
I mean, the Frog and Newtfind. Newtfind is actually the same, yeah, but we customized it with Morgan, yeah. So it's basically it's that website just translating the website to like a text versions, yeah. But if with this amount of text and other elements of the website is so huge that, for example, Netscape just die. I'm gonna try that Courier, yeah, because that can
Yeah,
be,
try it.
yeah, yeah.
But I think you can still run out of memory with that one, but it's much more lightweight.
There was I don't remember who did it, but there was one guy, and probably is somewhere more information on Newton Talk about this. He used Raspberry Pi.
Yes, I heard about that.
Yeah, to translate
People are doing the same for their old vintage computers also.
Yeah. So there's another project that I wish to
That's
explain.
pretty amazing that a little computer like that has it has so much more power than The poor Newton.
Yeah, way more.
You should
Yeah.
have bought one of the very first Apple IIs.
Yeah.
And they were 48K was a humongous amount of memory in those days. They were selling them with considerably less than 16K. Keeping in mind that the banking industry was working with 4K. They don't.
Luxury.
You know, though, I've noticed that sometimes having more memory and more capability doesn't actually lead to more productivity or more enjoyment
You're right.
when using a machine.
More dust, just like having a big house. You end up with rooms you don't go into, and the dust collects. And then it gets sticky when you try to walk through that room.
Yeah.
I think these technologies are the same way. The modern programs are really, really sloppy.
Yeah.
So if the programming is sloppy, what did you expect for the rest of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys remember eWorld? Apple's eWorld?
Mm-hmm.
I heard of it. I never had it.
Oh, sorry, guys. That's me.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things that happens. Things keep changing.
Mhm.
I loved eWorld. I thought it was marvelous. But Apple found other ways to make more money because me being happy doesn't generate money for them.
That's true.
So I had to throw my 3 leases away. Now
Oh
I'm
no.
kicking myself.
Yeah, that's those would have been a good investment.
Well, at the time, nobody wanted them. So you know what they were
Yes.
worth? Nothing. And that's the nature of how the world works. It's only because something is intriguing to guys like you fellas and myself that the Newton is still going, because nobody has gotten anywhere close to doing a similar thing. They did make a Macintosh for a period of time that had the handwriting, but it wasn't Apple that did it. The company bought the what do you call those things? Notepads or
PowerBooks.
laptops and those things, and ripped off the screens and put their own screens on.
I think that was called the Mod Book. Wasn't it?
Right. And
That was the
nowadays
company.
there's another version of the same thing happening that you can just stick it on your laptop's, cover up your laptop screen and use that. And it's but it doesn't do the handwriting very well. So the
You know,
handwriting idea
I
is still the critical part, I think.
on my iPad, the iPad now has handwriting recognition, and I like using it, but I don't like using it as much as on the Newton. It's still a more elegant system.
How do you do it with your thumb and your finger as opposed to the pen?
Well, you
We
can't.
No, you can't. The iPad has a pencil now, though.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
But I found it. I mean, I've only tried it a little bit, but I found it. I mean, as you state, obviously not as good as the Newton, but also more restrictive. Like you can only do it in
Yeah.
the field. It's like I need more space than that. I'm an old man with
Yeah.
a wobbly hand. Don't restrict me to this tiny field that I have to try and fit this in.
And none of the Newton gestures that are imprinted in my brain work with it either. You know, like to make like a new space where you can write, you do like this little uh, zigzag, and then you can write. And nothing like that works. They don't have anything nice like that to help you. It's just there.
I think the Newton did it better than anything else that I've seen come anywhere. I had on my Apple II, I used a light pen that I pointed at the screen so that I could find dots on the screen. And I don't know if you remember those things, but all the system did was a very simple system. You pushed the keyboard, one of the keys on the keyboard, and a light band would go across horizontally, and another light band would go down vertically, and that's where the XY coordinates came from. That's very, very old. I had that system running in 77. So really interesting what we could do, but now memory and speed and all these magic toys, well, new ways of determining where X and Y are. Still haven't figured out Z very well. For Melvin will know what I'm talking about. X, Y, and Z.
I guess
What were you doing?
it's Z over
What were
here.
you doing?
Sorry, somebody said something. Well, back in those days, I was really interested in the technology and doing things. Became a contributing editor to one of the magazines back in those days for the Apple II magazines that existed. Wrote all sorts of neat little software for it. And the Newton software, of course, is designed around those little handheld screens. Trying to do it on the screens that I work. I don't know if you can see over, maybe if I turn this little camera here and I can bring it over here. You see that screen on the wall behind me? That's 10 foot wide. I don't think my pen's going to work on it. I use that as a backup time for doing things. It's just, we have to have toys, and the bigger the better. Well, I grew up in the 50s, so the cars were the same way. Gigantic monsters of cars. In today's world, they're all small, relatively speaking, which is why people are buying pickup trucks.
Yeah, we wanna everything's bigger.
Yes, we do. And of course, the eMate was supposed to do that, but it didn't really do that, did it? All it did was add a keyboard. Mind you, I already have a keyboard for my Newtons. Works on the 130 as well as the 2000 to 2100.
Yeah.
It wasn't hard to do. But what was the point of having a keyboard when you're supposed to be using a pen?
Yeah, but it's very useful, I must admit. I'm using K-pop and I actually like eMate, yeah. For typing for Malvin, I think. EMate would be great for his, you know. Oh, you have better device. You have better device. Yes, yes. So definitely better. Hi, Jake. How are you? We don't hear you. You need to activate your audio machine.
Yeah, you're on mute.
You're mute.
At least
Look
there
at
you
that.
go.
Yeah, now we can hear you.
I do this every day at work.
Okay.
1 second.
Okay.
No.
Oh, not yet.
What's going on?
To join us. Hello. How are you guys?
Doing it right.
Good.
So you
Hi,
mentioned you
hi, sorry, I'm joining from Chicago. Hey, everyone.
Oh, nice. Sorry, Jake.
Welcome to the USA.
no Paul asked me to join or wanted to chat with me over the weekend at some point, so I figured I'd stop by.
Nice. That's great.
I need a power cord. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
A power cord? I thought these were handheld toys.
Well, my M1 Mac is definitely power hungry.
I thought they were supposed to be very efficient.
Well, they're only so efficient when you forget to plug them in.
They say that about electric cars too.
That
Been a
is
very long
very
career.
true, especially when you have a trailer and forget to plug in, and then you're in the middle of France with a trailer, and oh, never mind. I don't know why I'm so specific about this.
Every now and then, the populace gets sold a scam. And I don't think the Newton was that. It was just proclaimed to be because nobody else could come anywhere close to what that team had put together. I think the Newton wasn't the scam until somebody decided it wasn't theirs, so they needed to get rid of it. Mind you, they're still using an awful lot of the ideas on my iPhone. That little dot in the bottom of the Newton, it's now hardwired onto my iPhone. Which is interesting. Hi, Jake. Very nice ceiling you have.
Ah, thank you. Yeah, dirty camera leaving the lens flares. There you go.
Nice.
So what's new in the world of Newton? Anything?
I don't know. Not much recently, I think. You, Matthias, and a few other guys, you do the job. I'm still waiting for the internal USB-C board.
Well, I don't know if the person is on, but someone from Newton Sales
Yeah,
kind of reached out to me with a design which was, I don't think tenable. Basically, he was back driving the 5-volt rail from the USB port and wondering why the Newton wouldn't work. And that is not in the specs. So that is why it didn't work.
yeah, yeah. But I saw recently he put auction on the eBay with that board, and the board is red instead of green.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, all he did was put a USB-C port on the standard serial design, but he was also trying to power the Newton over the USB, which if you go back and watch our video back during COVID, it's a little bit more to powering the Newton through the port than just firing up the 5-volt rail externally, which is not what that 5-volt pin was intended for. That was an output from the device, not an input. So
Not the input. So on the internal connector, if we have that topic because it's very interesting. So on the internal connector, there's no way to power by that connector the whole Newton.
it's a little bit complicated because you actually can power the battery through the battery pins, but you also need to provide it a signal to let the Newton know that there is a external power supply on that pin, and you got to do all of that. So, and then you would need some USB power delivery,
Right.
more
complicated.
circuitry to get at least 9 volts, which you could then regulate down to the 7.5 that the Newton expects, and then you would need some additional hardware to make sure that you're not backfeeding things, and it's not impossible, but it's not just hooking up a 5-volt line. That's not going to be successful. So yeah, I shared that feedback with him, but I did start a design on it a while back, but it's one of these things where life intercedes and I don't have the time to play around as much as I'd like.
Okay, so maybe that will be a stupid question, but I'm gonna ask. What about to do kind of boards that just cover the serial port connection and connect the power pins from USB physical connector, connect directly to the board when the power should be delivered? Because what I did recently, I'm not sure if you saw that, but I just used the USB cable, like only power pins, and I managed to deliver the power to the normal power adapter connector, yeah?
Yeah.
And I just delivered there 5 volts and it's working like a month. That Newton will lie on the table and working like a month from the normal USB power adapter. There's no issue with this because I still remember a lot of talk about don't connect external power adapters to the Newton because you fry it, etc., etc. But
So
it's
I'm
working.
speaking specifically about the internal port. I think if what you're doing is you're essentially presenting what is probably the Newton would consider an undervoltaged external power supply. And so that external port probably, goes through various battery protection circuits. I actually looked it up at one point. There's like a max something. I don't remember what but it's there's a battery charging IC and a battery protection IC, and all that hardware probably is front ending the external power port. So in that case, you're probably less likely to do damage. Whereas from the internal slot, it's they even call them unfused power lines to the battery. And so, going, just pushing voltage into those pins with the Newton not expecting it would probably, like I said, not be a good thing.
So it's like no protection on that.
No protection. Yes, no protection. And on my old Wi-Fi board, I had a PTC fuse on the board just to be safe in case there was a short or something, and it wouldn't just dump the full battery voltage. But yeah, the pins are in the docks as unfused, so there's no protection on them. So I think the Newton designers would originally have intended the board designer building the external board to do the work of properly interfacing to those power lines, which I don't think was happening on the Newton Sales serial board. It was just he just had the 5-volt line hooked up, and that may have powered up some of the hardware, but the 5-volt line, there's a 12-volt line, there's a 3.3-volt line, and all of that comes off a 6-volt battery or a 7.5-volt power adapter. So I don't think I don't think that strategy would work. So I never heard back when I told him that. So I guess he gave up.
This is what I didn't even answer because I get the same email from him, and I remember my previous experience that if he get what he want, he completely stop the conversation. Yeah, so
sorry, I tried that because if you use a power bank with USB-C power delivery and you can put an adapter between it and the Newton, and you can then put the voltage to 7.5 volts and it worked quite reliably.
Yeah, that would work probably on the external port, especially external power input port. I imagine that would work. I mean, there's some specs in the specifications that are like talk exactly what voltages and amperages that a power supply is supposed to deliver, and I can't really speak to whether or not that would appear as a quote unquote Thevenin equivalent source with open circuit voltage of 6.75 to 7.5 volts, but it's probably
well, you can put it to 7.5 volts. It worked fine. It also seemed to work fine with 5 volts. So any plain USB power supply. But I didn't do any extensive testing.
I have a word of warning about that. I did put the USB to voltage upregulator, and I put it at 7 volts, and I used that successfully for a while. And then recently my Newton has stopped being able to charge the battery. So it might not be related, but it's possible.
I don't have a I usually take the battery out, and the battery in my second Newton, which is an eMate, is already broken, so it doesn't charge anyway. That's why I decided to connect it to a power bank via an external supply. I mean, it might be easier to rework the battery pack, but I think there are some NTCs or PTCs or whatever in there that you have to connect, so the battery charges.
Yeah, I have up the power develop app adapters designer's guide if anyone wants to you know, dive in. I am not a hardware engineer. I just fake one on the weekends. But you know, I haven't talked about Thevenin equivalent sources since my days at Carnegie Mellon, and that information has been ejected from my brain to make room for other things. So, yeah, I mean, it talks very specifically about the qualities of a power adapter, what the voltages are, what the current you would expect at different voltages. This wonderfully confusing graph is here. But
Can you put it up on Una or something else?
this is up there already. It's where I got it.
Okay.
So this is all there. You can kind of take a look. And then let's see. We'll stop sharing this. Start sharing another thing. Where is it? Oh, yeah. So in this is the let me find it. This is the serial slot guide. I don't know. Hopefully I'm sharing that. Internal serial slot designer's guide. This has, if you look at the pins, this is a power enable pin. Sorry, there's another pin. Where is it? Here are the unfused pins, unfused power supply pins. Direct connection to the battery can be used as a supply or to charge the batteries. So,
but the batteries are 6 volts max, I think.
Yes. So, yes, exactly. So the question becomes, you know, is there an expectation that the board that you plug in here have some sort of circuitry to behave kindly to a battery? There is where is it?
It's my understanding that the charging electronics have to be on there. So it's nice if you want to use a different battery chemistry, so you can connect your own charger, but you would have to still make sure that you don't overcharge batteries and so on.
Yeah,
no, I would charge externally anyway.
So basically to use that pins, you need to have external charger with kind of current and voltage control and everything to take care, because it's like what was the description, Jake, for that pins?
it says direct connection to the battery. Now, I don't think that's true. Last time I and I haven't done this in a while, but I think I recall checking this with a voltmeter, and it did not find a direct connection to the battery, that there was some charging circuitry between this port and the you know, this port and the battery. But this pin here, power supply adapter in, is a signal to indicate to the system that a power adapter is present on the unfused power pins to charge the battery. So you need not only to connect up a power supply, but also to inform the Newton that there is a power supply on those pins.
And maybe then the electronic is switched to that pins or something.
Yes, I mean, that was always my impression, but again, I haven't really done extensive testing on this. And the other thing, you know, again, mentioned in the talk we had way back when, maybe it's back in the other document, but there is a
could you scroll for a moment to page number 4?
page number 4.
Yes. What this 11 and 12? What is it?
11 and 12. Those are the outputs from the Newton.
Right.
So there's a 3.5, there's a 5, and there's a 12 volt here down on 27. The 12 volt is used mainly to power the backlight inverter. And then, 5 and 3 volts. And, there's a power registry in the OS that, like, if you put in a PIMC card that needed 5 volts or 12 volts or whatever, it turns on and off these voltage supplies based on whether there's hardware that needs it at any given time. I think 3.3 is always there because that runs the Newton, but the other ones I think come on and off if I recall. Maybe the 5 volts always on too. I don't remember, but
Okay.
but yeah, there's another back in the other document which talks about this this power adapter in, and it's a direct connection to the power supply through a resistor, and the resistor value that's in the documents is wrong. It says, oh, try 100K resistor, and that's just wrong. It wants 10 milliamps. So for a 7.5 amp, 7.5 volt supply, you're talking like a 750 ohm resistor, not a 100K resistor. So yeah. So I mean, it's possible. I don't know how.
But I wanna, if you don't mind, I wanna come back to my very, very bad idea. So on the internal board, just use the, let's say, USB-C as a connector for USB, and just connect the serial signals from the other IC on the board to have a just communication through that port, and to the voltage signals, just solder physically plus and minus to the board, to the Newton board, to have a powering. So that would emulate like connecting the power adapter.
Yeah, I mean that
No,
would
it's not
technically
super
work.
elegant, and it's like like a very, very not professional approach to this. But would that work? To have the
it would-
power and transmission signal from one USB port on the back of the Newton.
I don't see if you're, I can't say it's a good idea, but if you've done your tests with powering it from 5 volts outside, then yes, powering it from the inside on those same connector pins would work.
The only restriction would be you cannot deliver more than 5 volts, because if you connect, let's say, I don't know, USB-C power adapter, they have different voltages, yeah.
Yeah, well, I also wouldn't want to, the situation where you accidentally forget and plug in an external power adapter, and now you've back powered USB with 9 volt or 7.5 volts.
Yeah.
That also wouldn't
Yeah,
necessarily be
that can be issue. Yeah.
But
So it's bad idea. It's a bad idea. But Matthias, you did some that nicely done modification of the connector for interconnect port. Just use the
Last
physical
time
tool.
the port in the back, yeah, I found a compatible plug for it. I published a number last time. I would have to look it up now. It
Yeah.
needs a lot of modification, a good sharp knife and a saw, and but you can actually, it plugs into the back, it falls out, it's not self-securing, but the connections seem to be working okay. So it is possible to make a connector that plugs in the back.
Right.
But it's a lot of handiwork, yeah. I don't know if I spontaneously find the images of that. I can check.
I'm gonna share my screen in a second. I want to show you something.
I'm looking at the schematics right now, still wanting to find out how the battery is connected, but I can't find that part, unfortunately. So I have to get back to that.
you have the schematics for the message pad?
Yeah, I think those are, I don't know how current they are, but I have some schematics that seem to match pretty well what I have in the machine.
Okay, I haven't seen that, but I know there's a Maxim battery charging IC, and I think a power switch driver. I can't remember. It's down near the battery terminals on the motherboard. Yeah.
Jake, do you see that picture?
Yes,
What do you think about this?
that as a breakout, it breaks out everything that's in the. Yeah, that would look.
Put even the power connector, yeah?
Yes,
The
there's a
power
good.
adapter, yeah.
There are power adapter input on that connector as well. Yes.
But it's still external, yeah. It's not that elegant like internal board, yeah.
Mhm. Who has this board?
I bought that board from the guy from. I found that board on eBay, and I
Ah.
instantly clicked buy it. And that end up the board was manufactured by the guy from Newton Cells.
Hmm.
So he have even the original connectors available. Yeah. So I have that board, but I've never connected.
Alert from transmit. Upload complete.
All right.
I have a couple of those connectors somewhere, but I don't know where they are right now, but they're in my parts bin somewhere.
Yeah, but it's still external device, yeah. But we're looking for some like one connector to Newton and deal with everything.
I think the internal connectors are still available. The individual ones, like if you go to Mauser or DigiKey, the individual unit ones are no longer for sale. They show obsolete, but you can actually, I think, still buy a cut tape version of the internal ones.
All right.
But never, I think I have a handful of those still, and I know that a couple other people have them. So if we got ambitious, I'm sure we would be able to find them in the community if we needed them.
I have few of them, so I can share if someone need them. Oh.
I uploaded the link to the schematics. It's in the group chat.
Oh, thank you.
Nice.
I did have a chance to do tiny little bits with Einstein.
Okay.
It's not much, but I upgraded to the newest UI library, which just for Einstein means that the debugger console now works the same on all machines, and it's much better to use. And there's a tiny attempt already at debugging Newton script source codes, and but yeah, those are the minor changes that in everyday use don't do anything. What I was able to do, there was a bug in if you have very specific Windows 11 machine with an ARM 64 CPU, that used to crash, and this is working now too. So, and I reverted the Linux audio driver, and I think that should work now out of the box. But I have some feedback that it didn't work, so I'm not 100% sure. If I get more feedback, I'll try when I find time to fix Einstein again, so it works perfectly again.
Nice.
I think everything is downloadable. All the different binary versions are downloadable from the GitHub page.
Fantastic.
Sorry, I'm sitting in a hotel room. I'm very inconveniently.
So looking at page 10 here, there is so the battery comes into a Max 471 and then goes through a couple of looks like MOSFETs to turn on and off various supply like the audio, the AC adapter input. So yeah, there's some circuitry here. Now I have to see if I can find internal serial slot on this and see.
That
you
was
know,
on page 3 or 4, pretty
Page 3.
early.
Gotta go, guys. Bye-bye. Been fun.
Oh, there it is. Yeah,
E7 and page 4.
yeah, I see it.
I
I'll have to
have
look
a, sorry?
I'll have to look at this more carefully.
May I ask a question, or do you want to say something?
Go for it.
I have a very basic Newton question. It's actually a Newton OS question. I maybe want to implement a Mastodon reader on the device. I once did it for real mode DOS, and the approach was to have to use a command line Mastodon client on a Unix host, and then basically get a comma separated values file from it, and then import it into a DOS database, and then make a custom. It's not really a GUI, it was in text mode, but you had um, several fields where you could display the headers and the message. I would like to do the same thing for the Newton. So the first difficulty I have, I don't really understand how to get text data over on the Newton. What I understand is basically the Newton treats internal memory and the internal flash drive and external drives via PCMCIA as a sort of database, single level database where you have keys and could look up things. And I still don't basically get how to do it.
I have a book that might be helpful.
The Newton OS, as you saw, does not have a file system and uses the PCMCIA, and it can only use linear flash cards, and then it puts its own file system on there. There's nothing comparable on Linux machine, even if it has a PCMCIA port. So you won't be able to read or write those files.
I mean, I can exchange via, what is this called, Unix NPI. I can exchange packet files and install things, programs on the Newton. Is there some kind of software where I could do the same to the text file? Or do I have to send it as an email, or what do I have to do? I mean, there must be some way to get, it's not a lot of data, by the way, it's several hundred kilobytes.
You can always wrap text and make it into a package, but that's not easy to get to on the Newton side either. You can
I mean, the text file already is a database with the first column as a primary index. Could I somehow convert it I don't know into what, into Newton script or
You could do that.
um,
You can convert it to Newton script and then use the Newton script compiler to make it into a package. Then you still have the issue that on the Newton you need to get to the data. So you'd have to write a program or a second program or a program inside the first to get to the data. You can, I'm sure you can just copy text over into the memo pad, but I don't know if that helps you. Well, how you need to access the data later, right?
Alexander, I have a question. I'm sorry. Maybe I don't understand, but do you looking for kind of method to visualize the data you will have, or you just want to interpret the data in some other, I don't know, text way or something like
I
that?
just want to, there is an application called something with soup.
Okay.
I really want to get an equivalent of the data into the Newton, where I then can access this from Newton script or Little Lisp or whatever.
Oh,
And it's not very clear for me how to do that.
all right. Okay.
Was I'm just trying to remember, was there ever a Linux program that would install packages? Am I
There is
misremembering?
one.
Okay.
There is one. There are several, but they all seem to have the same functionality. So could I somehow wrap it into a package that then gets installed and
I guess, are you a programmer?
well, not professionally, but yes, I can do perhaps. What scares
If it
me
would
is
help,
the
I could
window.
send you this book.
That's the Windows part.
Yeah.
I actually don't. I don't have the what it's called Newton toolkit or something that you use to write native applications for the Newton. I have several programming environments that run on the Newton, and it just should. I mean, you should be able to do something like that. I just don't know which way to go. Is the way to distribute it as a package?
Don't know. This is beyond my depth.
You have several delivering as a package is probably the best, because then you can do that via serial port or over network ports, or all the opportunities are open. You have to write a program anyway, so you will have to find a compiler that works for you. And you have Newton Toolkit, which runs on classic Mac OS and classic Windows, like Windows 95 would be the target platform. That's a little bit annoying. There's another compiler, but it's purely command line. It's called Newt/0. And it's a complete compiler in itself, but and it can generate package files, but you need to do some trickery to do that. It's most of it is explained on the Newt0 page, so you can use Newt0 to generate this database and also generate the program. Be aware that you said it's a few hundred kilobytes. That's for the Newton quite a lot. It only
Yes,
has.
I know. I can pare it down for testing.
Yeah, you can just generate a package on Newton is the same as data as a script. It's all the same. For Newton doesn't really differentiate. You can have an array of integers and strings, and in the middle of it you have a program. It's no problem at all. So you can generate a package that has all the strings that you want to access. You can do
In
that.
fact,
Zero.
an array of strings or an array of an array of strings
Yeah, you can.
would be fine for me.
Mhm. Just remember Newton stores all text in 16-bit Unicode. So if you have a normal Linux database, it will already double in size because it goes from 8-bit characters to 16-bit characters. So the package will become really huge. One way to try this out, do you have Einstein installed, the emulator?
Yes.
Einstein, actually, if you have the FLTK version on all platforms, it comes with built-in Newt 0 with the built-in compiler. And you can just launch it and look at one of the test programs. I think I only have one test program in it, sorry. And so Einstein, when you look at it, comes with a built-in Newton toolkit, basically. Sorry, you all know what that was. And you can go. I got the wrong version. Okay, and you can start writing code on Einstein with the command line or with the Newt 0 compiler, and the package that are generated by this, they also work on a physical Newton, no problem whatsoever. So you can play around with Einstein and already try to see how much data you get into a package and how to write one.
Okay.
Matthias, if
I
you
don't know. Does
launch the
I tried to use Einstein on Android.
No.
Unfortunate. What? Sorry.
Yeah. No, Einstein on desktop. On Android, the Einstein on Android is not supported, and it's a really old version. And of course, on Android, it doesn't have a developer environment built in. The developer environment is on Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. If you use those versions, and only with the FLTK version.
Okay, then I will try to use that.
You know how to you know how to get to those versions?
Yeah. I have it. I think I have the latest binary version for AMD 64 and for RISC-V. I had to compile it myself for RISC-V, but
yeah, I put it
works.
in the chat, so you have the link right there.
Okay.
And let me see if I can. Sorry if there's another loud launch. Has to build first.
Okay, thank you very much.
Let me see if probably another 5 seconds, and I have Einstein booted. No. Okay. Sorry, can't show it right now.
if you wanna, Matthias, you can guide me, and I'm gonna launch Einstein. And I'm gonna
Alert.
if you wanna, because I have the newest version, so I can share screen. Give me a second. Desktop share. I'm not sure what you see, but you should see the Einstein running. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So guide me. So guide
see
me
it.
where I should go.
Great. Okay, so in the main menu, Under Windows, I think there should be Toolkit.
Yeah, all right.
And this is a complete, it doesn't look like much, but it's a complete Newton script developer environment. And then you can load the Hello World, for example.
Yeah.
And this is already a full-on Newton script program. Everything you need is in there. And just as I added a program here, you can just add string data or whatever you want. And if you go on the top left, there's a little run button.
Here.
Yeah. And then when you look on, it should compile it and install it and run it right away on Newton. So there's the little dialog box it creates.
Yeah.
And when you tap on that, you get a message, and then you can okay the message, and that's all it does. I mean, it's not a huge app, but it just shows that Einstein can compile code for you and run it, install it and run it. Yeah, and you can change the text from Hello World to whatever Hello Universe, and that just shows and proves that it runs the code.
Okay. So where's the compiler located? Is it already inside the Einstein binary? Because when I have compiled
I think the
it,
other examples are a little bit extreme. There's one that contains assembler code, so you can actually run binary code in there too.
Which one?
But yeah, this is
this is not this. Okay. Okay.
Not for the faint-hearted.
All right. Matthias, you mentioned something that must be tested in the new.
I'm still waiting for the first game developed by someone on Einstein, full on big size.
What would be the name for Tetris for Newton? Netris? I think it's there, yeah.
There's already one. It's
Yeah.
called Nutris.
Nutris.
The NTK compiler, like the old native one, is, you know, if you use it enough, you start to realize it really is just one big fancy text editor that renders essentially what, you know, you would paste into that compiler that Matthias has added to Einstein. And, you know, there's no like resource forks or anything unless you're doing things like graphics and other things. But the old NTK would actually render it out as one big flat file.
I am now in my Einstein source directory. And if I do a ls, I have documentations, drivers, emulator, K, monitor, Newt 64, Newt packages, resources, screenshots, toolkits, app build, several iterations of libffi, Memo 2006.
Yeah, you don't. This is the source code for Einstein itself. I mean, this has nothing to do with writing code for Newton OS. This is if you want to compile Einstein from scratch, that's when you need that directory.
Yes, and where do I find the example code? It must be somewhere inside the source directory.
Oh, okay. One sec. Well, you can launch the app and then load it from the developer.
Okay, I will try.
You want to find the code.
Okay.
So it now gives me I start and it says booting. And where do I have to go now? File.
Maybe try to show us what you do.
Yes, but it's on a different. I'm on my phone now, and it's on a.
Okay, so
different.
if your Einstein launched, you can see your Newton. Did it run?
Yes,
Does it?
I see a message pad, and I have an additional menu at the top: file, edit, platform, window, and help. Then I have some icons:
Yeah.
power, backlight,
Go
PC card.
go on the menu item window, and then there's or Windows, and under that there's one called Toolkit,
Yeah.
and that should open a big window with the text editor in it that has the toolkit.
Yes.
Okay, and then there's under File.
Okay, there is sample projects. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then it should be enough to just click on Run, and it should run on the emulated Newton. May have to do a save as first or something. Because, yeah. And it
Sorry, the problem
builds a
has
package.
occurred.
Hmm?
It probably couldn't find the package.
Yeah, you have to save the source code once under a different file name, because it names the package the same as the file name. And if it took the
Okay.
loaded the
So
example.
save as.
Yeah, do save as and save it somewhere where you can find it again. And then if you then compile, it will save it as a hello.ns or something.
Okay.
And then when you compile it, it should generate the package right next to where the ns file is. The hello.ns should be a hello.package file next to it.
So this is the challenge before next time. Somebody has to write a game. Is that it?
Something useful.
That can be problematic because next one is next Saturday.
Hurry, come on.
Oh, wait.
I also already have a game named hello.ns.
I think my wife is about to get home, and I'm going to have to carry in groceries. So for those who celebrate, I wish everyone a happy Easter. For those who don't, have a great weekend,
Happy Easter.
and look forward to the next one I can join you on. And thanks for those schematics, Matthias. Very interesting. They don't quite match, but they're pretty close. And of course, the pins I'm most interested only appear on page 3 with the connector. It's like unfused power pin doesn't appear anywhere else. So who knows what he's
Great.
Who knows where the other end is?
Jake, before you go, I just want to say in general to all of you guys that I have a plan to do even short meetings every month, every 4 or 5 weeks. I think, yeah, would be great. Even, small updates or something. So,
And I'm pretty active on Discord from other groups and other communities. So always willing to chat on Discord. You can find me the Newton one.
great. I always post announcements on Newton Talk and on Discord, actually. Yeah. So those two platforms, I think, at this moment they are most reliable to inform people. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
It was good to
Well,
chat, Jake.
nice to chat with all you, and see you online. Catch you later.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
So now I was able to start Einstein. Do you guys want to see again the?
Yes, please.
Okay. So share screen.
Sure.
Okay. So here's Einstein. Can you see?
Yeah.
Guys. Okay, so here in the window we have the monitor that's for machine code debugging, and toolkit is this guy here, the Einstein toolkit. And when you load one of the sample projects, then it needs to be saved first somewhere else. So here it's in my home directory. And now if I compile it, oh, okay. See, a problem has occurred. That's good that this happens because it doesn't always work. The communication between Einstein Toolkit and the emulated Newton sometimes fails, and then you get this error code.
You have to change. I just found out K app name and K app symbol from something else to something else than hello doppelpunkt colon Wonka.
Mm-hmm.
That is already pre-installed on the internal flash. And
sorry, Matthias,
it
I think you have second line. I think there's an error because second line. Yeah, missing
Why?
at the end, missing I forgot that symbol. When you have,
No, that's a symbol. That's it's on Newton script. You don't need two of those.
all
I
right,
mean, launch this, and
because
it's sometimes it
mine is
hangs.
working. Mine is working very well.
Yeah, this should working. It should be working too. Sometimes it just hangs. That's the communication that happens between the toolkit and the Newton platform. Nice. I got it really to hang. Okay. Great.
okay. So I will I think I can work with that.
Sorry about that. So here's the toolkit program, and then if I click run, it should transfer it over here, and then you just have to say hello. And if I click that, I get the dialog box, as we saw earlier. And Pavel, just to show you here, this is one tick is starting a symbol. It's one tick is correct. I get confused by that all the time too, because on C++ that would be wrong.
Yeah, that was my impression.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but you can do stuff like here, for example, here's the modal confirm box that I'm using, which is really easy, and you have an OK button here, and I can just add a cancel button to it, but just putting it in the array and clicking run. And then I got a cancel button here at the bottom. It's really nice. It's well thought out and fun.
Okay, so if we could chat about this, what you have on the screen now, because
Mm-hmm.
understand is a very simple program, so just text.
Mm-hmm.
How you do in the on Newton things like I don't know, you want to introduce kind of graphics or you want to
Mm-hmm.
bring the other elements, like for example, if we talk about making a game, yeah, I wish
Mm-hmm.
I wish to introduce some kind of graphics or sprites or whatever, how to call it, yeah, kind of, I don't know, animation, kind of for Newton, obviously, yeah, because Newton is not good on this, yeah. But for example, if I could design some kind of graphics, how you do it? You need to program, or you can bring like a, I don't know, physical files.
Yeah,
You know,
you would have to convert it into a text format. So like you see here, there's a view bounds and then the record with left, top, right, blah, blah, blah. And there's something similar that for graphic too. I don't have it in the back of my head, but it's something like image, and then it also needs like a width and then height, and one of the fields is just an array of or just binary data. and that needs to be converted. I should actually make that part of the Einstein toolkit, that you can just import
Image.
PNG, for example.
Oh, that would be nice.
That should actually be pretty easy to do. Yeah, I can do that, and then you can just import PNGs and GIFs, and then you don't have to do anything to get
But
graphics.
they all have to be monochrome.
Yeah,
If I'm cool.
Yeah, it's monochrome, 16 shades of gray, but PNG.
Okay, you can have shades of gray. Okay.
You can have shades of gray, but and you can have an alpha channel. Just trying to find where my additional commands are that I already wrote. Oh yeah, here you can see, I think you can see the developer environment right now. So
Yes.
here's how the icon, the application icon looks, and you see this make binary from hex, which has this hexadecimal format here and generates the bitmap in the end that is being used. But of course, you need to create this bitmap, and there's no program out there that I know that would do it for you.
Okay.
So
what that particular function do? You just show us on the bottom. What that function do? That icon pro.
yeah, this is the format that you have to generate here. This to generate an application icon. But I'm trying to write that's why it's in the source code. I'm trying to write a function. Like here, I have different functions. For example, make binary from ARM. So you can just enter ARM assembler commands and it will generate the binary for you. And I want to have a make binary from a PNG, for example, and then it would generate an image structure like this by reading a PNG image file. So you don't have to do anything. If that takes probably 5 times longer to explain what I'm doing than just doing it.
All right, okay. So when you will be able to do it, I will be able to import some, for example, PNG tiny file to Newton and include in the application, yeah?
Yes, and it would be stored within the PN package.
All
So
right.
once it's in the package file, you don't need the external PNG anymore. So you just distribute the package just like you would otherwise too.
All right. I use the traditional, Newton toolkit, or what was that? And I followed there with the image
Oh,
a lot. I'm gonna show you if
oh, in the Mac version to add
no,
images.
I have on Mac, I have installed Basilisk, and inside I'm using the original,
Yeah.
original one. So actually I did
Yeah,
gonna share my screen if you I'm gonna
how you do it on NTK for Mac OS, for classic Mac, is crazy. You have to generate the image and add it into the data fork of a binary file, and then you can import that from NTK. It's just so reverse of anything you would do today. But
So this is my high level of programming skills. I just
all right.
I just managed to fake Instagram app. So I managed to do the proper icon, and when you click, you have image with a screenshot.
That's actually pretty good, Powell. How did you do that?
I don't remember now, but I know that I spent a lot of time to do it. And I also fake Facebook, like you see here, is Facebook.
That's really funny.
So it's like a Facebook, but it's just the picture. I just took the screenshot from existing and I fake the icons on the bottom. Yeah. So it's just
I want to try this to impress people.
okay. Yeah, that was that was
But first a game.
yeah. Oh,
Maybe this is how I can do the game. We can just do a picture.
first game, how to trick people that you have Facebook and Instagram on the Newton. I'm gonna send you later on the packages of this, yeah.
Isn't Doom always the big test if a device runs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if it could I don't know. You'd have to write it in machine code or something.
Yeah.
Probably.
Oh yeah. Newton script is slow.
No, that would be. But we don't want a Facebook on Newton, don't we?
Actually, that's a very good point. That's one of the reasons that my iPad is not like my Newton is because
Exactly.
of
Exactly.
Facebook and notifications and all this other junk that bothers me all the time, breaks my train of thought.
We don't want a notification on Newton.
I do need GitHub, but other than that, it's fine.
You have alarm application on Newton, so yeah. You can set up. I've never tested actually. I have four Newtons when with NPDS servers in a place where I sleep, and I left them with the minimum sound, not mute, but minimum sound. And when the NPDS dying, there is that watcher, yeah, and the watcher reset everything. So I set up like a one click. So sometimes during the night, I click, 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 for Newtons, just add themselves. Yeah, it's nice. Don't wake up me unless I'm woke.
I haven't had time to set up my server, but I got the eMate upgrade card, just the same as you, Kyle. But I never. Is that what you're using for your server?
Which one?
It's like an upgrade card that you put in the eMate. I don't remember. You made a video about it, remember?
Remind me.
I have to go look for the video now.
All right. Okay. At this moment, I just managed last week actually. I just managed to resurrect my 4 NPDFs, so they are on the tracker. So if someone's fancy, the address is tracker.applenewton.co.uk and port 3680. So, and another 2 newtons are shared from the different Pete G Newton, and I think the another one is like from, oh, I forgot who shared it. But at this moment we have 6 newtons online. And I'm very proud from Newton number 1 because the website looks like this. What I did, I just spent a little time to modify the original because original usually looks like this one. Will it work? Yes. So usually it's a very simple like that. So I just managed to modify a little code and I put the graphics on my external server. So actually Newton, because Newton cannot serve the pictures except the screenshot. And I also include in that external CSS file. So the website looks a little better, but it's working. So you can page me if you click on the pager. You can page me directly on the Newton because you need to wait a little. So you have form, you can page me. And also, what else you can do? You can go on the guest book on the top menu you have. So you can go on the guest book and you can read the all message that people send me on this Newton, but also you can send by clicking to use that form you can send me your own. Yeah, it's a very simple stuff. And the one I like the most is a screenshot. So when you click the screenshot and you wait a few seconds, you will get a screenshot from my Newton. So Malvin, this is the app I mentioned before. Yeah, I think it's an extension for normal notice. But you have plenty other, like you see on the bottom, you have plenty other options. So maybe that will be useful for you. Yeah. It's a shame that you cannot control your Newton from the screen. It could be great to click, have a remote control. Yeah. So yeah, Newtons, they are working. So now I'm waiting for your NPDS live.
I know. I sent you a page,
All right.
but yeah, I have to get mine up. I have too many projects, so this is a problem.
Okay.
This could never happen to me.
Actually, guys, to be honest, if you have fixed like a Wi-Fi card and the connection is fine, to set up NPDS in a very basic way is like a 15 minutes, even less. Because
And you use a Wi-Fi instead of Ethernet.
yeah, I'm using Wi-Fi card with all my Newtons
Oh,
connected.
really?
Yeah,
Okay, maybe I'll try that. That would make it easier for
just
sure.
Wi-Fi, because doesn't matter if you have connection with the internet, you just need to upload all NPDS packages and generate the first there's a button to generate the HTML code, and that's it.
Mhm.
Later on, just modify the code if you want.
I wonder if I could transfer all my website and everything all over to my Newton.
No, will not work.
No? I wonder, yeah.
Very simple.
Probably gets like a 5 hits, and that would be too many.
I mean, you can create very simple, very nice, like a welcome website with the links to your all
Mhm.
websites. Yeah.
And is the CSS, Paul, are you hosting that somewhere else, or is that on
Yeah,
the
I have.
Newton?
I mean, you can edit and you can apply the kind of I forgot what's the proper name, but that was before the CSS, like a styles. Oh yeah, you can put in the code HTML codes the styles, so you can modify like a font size, blah blah blah. But obviously Newton cannot understand CSS. But I just put that file on my external server and I just refer to that. So the
Okay.
browsers on the computers, they just render properly everything. Yeah. Obviously, if you open that website I did on Newton, on another Newton, everything will be like broken. So I need to figure out how to fix this. Yeah, because Newton basically will struggle with displaying the graphics. Yeah, so
Mhm.
because
Cool.
they are too big. Yeah, but for the computer, it's working fine. Actually,
Cool.
because my website on Newton, I just used WordPress to do it, but I see I don't use actually the whole WordPress because I don't publish so much. So I'm looking for the kind of simple option how to translate my WordPress page to the normal HTML, and I want to do it like in a very, very strict way, just as a text to
Okay.
to open that on Newtons. Yeah, but I think I just need to copy paste and generate HTML. That's it.
I think I crashed your site, Paul. I'm
You,
sorry. It's
you
not loading anymore.
yeah, probably you killed Newton.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, fine. Don't worry.
There's a list of certain Wi-Fi cards that will work with drivers for the Newton. I have this one. Oops. From like
Yeah,
I
this
actually have a
decades
couple of
ago.
them.
yeah, this one
Yeah.
this one is great. Yeah.
Anyway, I have to head out too. I have a dinner appointment, so it was nice talking to you all. But
Nice to
take
see you.
care. See you
Nice to-
again.
So
Bye-bye.
the next one, guys, actually it's next Saturday. So if someone, because I'm gonna bring for a second, if you don't.
Is it the same time?
Yeah, it's the same time unless we'll decide collectively that we want any other time. I'm happy to adjust, but that was usually the time that I organized it, and people said everything's fine. But let me share the screen for a second. Share
I
from.
guess at some point we have to do one for the Southern Hemisphere.
It's fine by me, but you know, it's up to people. Yeah, I just put the kind of doodle voting, and like you see, people vote. Most of the people vote for the next Saturday and 27th. So definitely that two dates I will do because
Okay.
No, you just said you will be there. Alexander, the same, Grant, and Chris. I see no more response, but guys, the link to that is on Newton Talk. So if you wanna put your little input, I will be very happy. Because actually, I wish to, make that meetings on the dates when everybody are happy. Yeah? So if you could spend a few minutes later and just vote the dates. I just put a few dates till the end of the May. So yeah, and like I said before, I wish to organize every month, like regularly. Yeah. I bought Zoom license, so we have no time restriction now. So I want to organize every month at least at that, and maybe finally this year, at the end of the year, we'll do proper 2 days, like a few years ago,
Cool.
conference.
Thank you for organizing
Um,
this, Paul.
Yeah.
I've managed,
Sure.
sorry for butting in. I've managed to get Einstein via VNC on the phone.
All right.
So, do you mind if I share my screen?
Yeah, sure. Show us.
But how do I do it? Camera, Microsoft OneDrive, screen.
Do you use Zoom application or you have access via website?
I have application. Can you now see the Einstein?
No, we don't see anything else except
Mhm.
us. So share the
So,
screen and you need to pick up the right window, yeah?
Are you scaring? You're
yeah,
sharing from your phone? Oh,
Oh, you just disconnect probably. Right, okay. Let's wait a moment.
Okay, so I'll put a PNG image reader in, but then I want to see games.
all right. Hey,
I will do my
what-
best. Matthias, I will do my best. Meanwhile, if you could tell me or send maybe a post if you will find a few minutes on Newton Talk, what kind of things, because you mentioned you want to people test something. I have 2 weeks holiday now and I'm happy to sit down and test as much as possible, but tell me what you want me to test in Einstein and I will.
Yeah. But with the current Einstein version that I published, it was just would be nice to know if it runs on all machines, since I can only test on Mac really well.
All right,
And
so you want to
and
also
even on
Windows.
if I test on Linux and Windows, I always test on an ARM machine, which is completely different than an Intel machine. So just to check if it runs.
I can do for you Mac and Windows. I don't have at this moment anything else.
Yeah,
And
just
iPhone.
try it. If you can try it, would be nice. And if it doesn't run, let me know. I mean, it's not like a few years ago where when I would put something new out, 50 to 100 people would download it right away. So sometimes bugs go completely unnoticed because it's not really clear something changed.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, I will
thank you.
time
Thank you,
to
Matthias.
test the yeah. This is great, yeah. And when you publish that the yeah, but I still don't know how to write the mechanics of the game. Oh, I don't know how to do it, yeah.
don't worry, I'm just teasing.
Yeah, but actually I wish to finally do something, yeah.
I would love to learn. I need to. I learn best from reverse engineering. I don't learn from textbooks, which I have a textbook, but
No,
it's not
I'm the
useful for
same.
me.
I have all the books about programming. I have all of them, yeah, but
Yeah, and
I
I can't bring myself to go through the whole book.
give up on
But
page number 10, yeah, because that was like
but if you show me the code and that it works, like I didn't realize there were actual samples in here, so that's going to be great. So,
There are really just two and a half samples. I always wanted to add more. Maybe I should try to get around to do that. There's very few sample code out there, unfortunately, for Newton script in general. It's just a handful. And I have the reverse engineering tab up there, but it doesn't really show you the right code either. So I don't know. I don't know how to get more source code going.
It's a good start, actually, that there's at least some there.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a little bit with the developer setup from Apple, but this is all in Newton Toolkit format, which you can't read as a pure source code text. I probably should write an importer for NTK files, then you could see the text. That should be possible. I'll think about it. I'll see if I get the time.
Thank you, Matthias.
Yes, what about if we organize a conference at the end of the year?
Okay.
What about kind of practical class from you about programming? Did you prepare that kind of presentation and practical? I would learn something.
I can see how far I get. Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah, which reminds me, I was able, Simon Bell, he reverse engineered basically, I guess 1/3 of the ROM, and his source code is on GitHub now, and I was actually able to download big parts of it and download and compile big parts of it. And one of the things he has is a reverse engineering tool where you just throw in a function and it gets you the source code back. So I'm hoping I can combine that with my reverse engineering for packages. So we would get the source code of a package back, but that would be really cool. His source code's amazing. I don't know how many hours he must have put into reverse engineering this ROM. It's crazy. Or crazy in a good way. I mean, sorry, I'm using the German words. It's amazing.
So could you explain for noobs what that when you will be able to reverse engineering the whole ROM, what that will give you, what kind of ability will give you?
Well, what he did was he looked at the ROM and a lot of some of the information of the internals of the ROM are actually available, and he used a machine code and converted it back into C code in his interpretation.
All right,
And
so like an understandable code, yeah, not
exactly
just formula or something, yeah.
And then in an ideal world, if you get everything reverse engineered, you compile it, and the result would be the ROM again.
All right.
And I think I can probably get 1/3 of the ROM compiled, but that already gives me an interpreter, it gives me a compiler, and it gives me the ability to read packages, to extract packages, and all these kinds of things that are part of the ROM. And he got even further. He did get some graphics on screen, but I just can't get that code to compile. He started probably 10, 15 years ago with this. So his code is not modern C++ code. And to get it to compile, especially the jump from 32-bit to mandatory 64-bit processors that we had over the last years is very much in the way of all this. But he got very far, and I'm always thinking, like, if I would have started with him together 10 years ago, we'd probably have the entire ROM by now.
Wow. Wow.
That's incredible. It's too bad that he's kind of out of the game when it comes to Newton.
I suppose you can't see my screen.
Yes, we can.
We can now.
Do you see a new Einstein?
No, we see Zoom application.
Okay, then I will try. And now?
Yeah, very tiny, but we can see that.
Yeah, it's on a phone. I apologize. So I can click that, and then I go to platform. No, edit.
Window.
No, window was it? And toolkit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ta-da!
And there's
And then I'm able.
Yeah, you got
I
into-
get that.
Yeah. Well,
I probably have to hit return.
you would have to move the toolkit window down so you can hit the cross on the dialog box.
Yeah. I will try. It's not easy on a phone.
No.
Maybe no, it doesn't work. It's just
When you get this kind of error message, you probably do best by loading the sample again and saving it somewhere, and then restarting Einstein. It seems to have, sometimes it locks up.
What's the reason of this error? Because to be honest, I've never get that error. I always were able, I mean, I get errors if when I change something in the code and I messed up the code, but I've never get any error like that. Yeah, on Mac, I'm working on Mac.
Yeah, I think I'm not entirely sure. I think it's something similar to when you are loading something over the serial ports and it's too fast from a Windows machine, how we had to use slowdown.
Okay.
And so I don't know if that's the reason for it to lock up, but sometimes when like modern machines have 8, 10, 12 CPUs and Newton was built for a single CPU.
Yeah.
So when the toolkit hammers Newton and sends it tons of data, it just kind of gets a hiccup.
I think I found the error. I've inserted some junk code, and now
Save as
and run again.
Yeah, there it is.
Then I have it.
Yeah. Well, now you can't close the dialog box, but yeah.
Yeah, it's I will probably close the whole session because yeah. Okay. Just wanted to show you that, and
Yeah,
okay.
Nice.
You got it to compile. You wrote your own first program.
yes, and I also have a package file.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that package file should work without changes on a physical machine.
Good work. Time to write the game.
It's gonna be the running joke for the next 6 years.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thanks for organizing this. Thank you.
Yeah, nice to see everybody.
Thank you.
Take care, guys, and thank you very much for tonight, and yeah, for today, tonight, whatever, wherever you are. For me, it's tonight. So yeah, see you next time.
All right.
Good to see you. Bye-bye.
Bye.